Evening everybody, Joe Metalhead here. Hope you're going well. Today I decided to talk about a really interesting subject about being a minimalistic type of person. Man who lives with minimal needs. You know, it's been 6 years since I moved out of my mom's house this April. And in the last 6 years I've only spent 1 week of my life living in my mom's house. I was like 30 years old when I decided to move out, because I just got to that point in my life where I said, I've got to be living on my own. I can't be living with either one of my parents. As a matter of fact, I tried living with my dad in Cairns when I came back from Birmingham in 2015. My dad's like, "Man, I don't want you living here, because if you're living in my house, you'd be like dead fish after a while." You know, I mean, my dad's a pretty old man. I wouldn't really say it's too old, early 70s, but he likes living on his own, and he never ever wanted anybody else to live in his house, not even his girlfriend. So I'm going to show you all a bit about my minimalistic life. So this is what I pay in rent a month. This is like what 470 quid gets you. It will increase sometime in May this year. So literally I moved into this place in mid-May last year, as my former housemate was going to live in this house, but he decided to move to Dorset as his house was almost finished, and so he gave me this room. For things that I own, okay, I literally own these bed sheets, these pillows. I bought these pillows from my previous house. Yeah, those blankets over there, I also own them, but I do not own the bed, okay? I do not own this chest of drawers. This was here when I moved in, but you know, I use it, and whenever I move out of this place, this will stay. Now, let's go through a little bit of personal things. Literally, I always keep my medication in my top drawer. That's an important thing. I always have a habit of getting new passport photographs taken every 6 months, because I'll need them on my travels. And as a matter of fact, this thing here I've had for almost 5 years, this kipper. I bought this in Stamford Hill. I wear this when I go to Jewish cemeteries, like when I visit Mark Bowl and Paul Kosov's grave in Golders Green. Okay, that's pretty much just as good for my clothes. This is what I own. But I think I must own like maybe 8 pairs of socks. I only wear like boxers when I'm in summer. In winter it's thermal underwear. As a stationery, I get a couple of books to write things in. This is basically my diary, which I've been writing in like every day since the 15th of May, like last year, the day I moved to this house. Matter of fact, this is the first iPhone I ever owned, iPhone 5C. I don't use it anymore. The screen's a bit cracked, but you know, I upgraded to an iPhone 6 last year. But I keep this because of special memories on this phone. And this bottom drawer where I like to keep this all some extra clothing I still want to hang up, like jeans and shirts and that stuff. Okay, this laptop was given to me by my good mate Steve, who I've known for many years. He gifted me this laptop after my trip to Bangkok last year. This is a pair of scales I bought to weigh myself every now and then. This Guyana flag, I bought this just after I moved in. Reminds me of my trip to Guyana. That's Peter Gabriel's So album. Like, I used to own a lot of vinyl when I lived in Australia, but I sold a lot of it to move over here. So I thought, okay, I need one vinyl, so I'll use Peter Gabriel's So. I'm trying to get rid of these bags. I mean, this one's brand new. It was gifted to me by my last housemate. He moved back to the Turk and Caicos. So, besides, I don't like traveling with this type of bags, because it's all about like dragging them along. This one, I picked this up in December. I was going to travel, but then Omicron happened and I decided to stay at home. Now, to go through my personal wardrobe, I own various black shirts. Because of the industry I work in, when I'm a waiter, I need to have black shirts. Sometimes, you know, like I like to wear like a jacket, and so this is a waistcoat. I actually have 2 jumpers, winter, This is my favourite shirt I like to wear. And then also, there's my Johnny Glow shirt that I'm actually wearing right now. Well, maybe that's in the wash, but I don't really own that many band shirts. Now, this iron, actually, I don't own this. That came with the property, so I'm going to leave that when I get here. And, as a matter of fact, all these coat hangers I basically got from my last place in East London before I moved here. Now, to go a bit deep, as long as I'm not revealing too much, basically, this is a parcel I'm going to send to my dad because it's Father's Day coming up. It's my recent book. And then basically I've just got papers, which I won't show too much at all. But it's like my birth certificate, identification documents. My passports are not with me at the moment because they're at the passport office in Liverpool as renewing my British passport. You know, as an Australian citizen, I carry an Australian passport, but I don't use it to enter the countries. I do have some DVDs and some CDs. Yes, and also I do have a DVD player. And then that also keeps my medication in here. Then I've got, you know, this laundry basket, which was given to me after my housemate left. And down here, basically I don't really watch this all the time, but that's like a DVD player. I bought this in 2017, so that's pretty much an old thing. Still works, though. Yeah, this chair was dumped in a garbage area in London, so I picked it up for nothing, gave it a good clean, and took it into my house. When I move out of this house, whenever, I'm just gonna leave it here. Because when I moved in here, I had a fold-up chair, and I didn't really like the fold-up chair, so I got this, even though I'd only sit on it many times at all. And then I don't want to reveal too much, but I've got a map of my travels, and then just photographs of my family above it. So I won't show that because that's got children and all, and can't show photographs of children just because of, you know, regulations and all. Now let's have a look into the kitchen. Now, I buy one of these trays like a couple of times a year. They tend to get like rusty over time, but this is pretty much a baking tray I use to bake anything on. I have a blender wizz stick thing. That's the electronic part. Because, like, you know, I mean, my housemate uses this, but I don't want to touch it because that's not mine. I don't really need something big and bulky like that, professional like that. Now, just looking at the things I own, so this is the part of the wizz. It's a stick. This bowl was actually given to me by a woman I used to date many years ago. We used to like live together in a hostel, but due to COVID we moved apart and we don't talk anymore, so it's life. Bought this when I moved into an East London house last year. Look in my cupboard, okay. I bought this teapot in May last year, but I don't drink much tea out of it. This Bavarian little beer mug, I prefer to drink like Greek, Turkish style coffee. This is what you call a like Balkan coffee roaster, or you can like roast Turkish coffee, no matter like what country you identify with, sometimes like that. I've got some ingredients from Grenada who post them to London. Yeah, I've got, yeah, but this plate, I came to this house with this plate, and then this juicer, I haven't used it in a while. I used to have orange juice every day, or else some kind of lemon or lime to juice my cereal. Haven't done it in a while. Yeah, and also I've got bits of cutlery, like some of the, let me think. I mean, like this spoon right here, I've got like 4 of these, like with the little end like that. 4 knives, so that's mine. And yeah, just got a couple of like cups and mugs bought this recently from Cabo Verde. Might want to go here in the future. This is what I really wanted when I moved into this house. I wanted a mason jug, a mason glass to have my juice out every day, because the sexy sex toy reviewer Vanessa Hara, she drinks a juice out of one of these. I thought this was quite fancy. These aren't mine at all. So yeah, like this is how I live a minimalist life. I don't own any I don't own any furniture myself. I basically got my own crockery and cutlery, technology, spent a minimum 1 laptop, 2 cameras, a DVD player. Never ever had to own a bed in my life. Like literally in all my British life, I've never ever owned a piece of furniture, and that gas stool chair was the first ever piece of furniture I ever bought in this country. Yeah, and so the reason I live a minimalistic life is because when you want to travel, or you want to like leave the town like you live in, and if you do like pay rent, you basically can keep your house, so you can keep your personal items in your house. But sometimes, many years ago, I was between hostels, so literally I had to store most of my stuff at friends' house when I went abroad, so that was fine. But let's just say, okay, if like at the end of this month, if I was planning on like moving out of London and moving away from the UK for a short time, I pretty much would just give all of my belongings to my friend. She would look after it while I'm abroad, and I'd take all my clothing and my medication with me on my trip. But I could only spend like 3 months away from the UK because of my medical conditions. Like the NHS can give me 3 months of medicines. They can say, look, here's for 3 months of medications, enjoy a trip. So that means like if I was to stay longer abroad, I'd have to, source my own medications on whatever country I'm living at's public health system. And the only time I've ever bought medicines abroad in a foreign country was in Serbia, when I was able to buy my thyroid medication. Normally in Australia, if I was living there, they could give me 6 months supply, and that would be it. But I don't really have any plans to go to Australia until 2026. Am I happy living the London life after coming out 5 years? Yes, I kind of believe the last 5 years in London has been better than my last 3 years in Australia, because my last 3 years in Australia were quite horrible due to the 0-hour contracts. The last 5 years in London have been awesome because I've had a full-time job. I've gone from 55 to 88 nations. And I've always been abroad nearly every one of my birthdays, apart from my 33rd birthday. And yeah, this is like life I live. Like, I don't know when I will plan on settling down. Like, I do say that I am going to stop traveling a lot once I get to 100 nations. I kind of think, once I get to 100 nation, I'm going to go back to London, work hard, and then try to move to another country in Europe, like either Ireland or Portugal, just depending on paperwork. I mean, Ireland would be much more easy because of ties with Britain. Portugal would be a bit of a long shot, but hey, it's not like moving to America. That's quite of a hard thing for anyone to do. And I myself, I would never move to America with all of my medical conditions and all of my ways of life. So, yeah, this has been quite a nice show around into my life. Hope you enjoy watching it. I'm Metalhead, over and out.